Earlier this year, we tested the 2024 CR-V Sport. Now, we were very impressed with that vehicle, but found that it was missing a couple of the important options. Today, we have yet another gray CR-V, but this time around, it's the new for 2024 model year, the EX-L Hybrid trim. Now, we're going to find out what the trim offers and why it might be the trim to get. The EX-L trim comes as both a hybrid configuration as well as a gas configuration. Above the EX-L trims, there is the Touring, which comes exclusively as a hybrid. Below the EX-L trims comes the Sport trim, which exclusively comes as a gas variant. Now, this is the EX-L Hybrid, and in Canada, it sits at around 49,000 Canadian dollars after deliveries. In terms of the exterior looks, up front we have black eyebrows for the headlights, sportier front bumper, 18-inch black alloy rims, as well as a black mirror cap. Now in the rear, you also get a sportier rear bumper along with dual looking exhaust tips, as well as hybrid badging, and all around the car you get parking sensors. Now, one cool thing about the CR-V exterior is how wide the rear door opens. It literally opens up pretty much 90 degrees, which is super great for entering and exiting, especially if you have a child. Now, overall, the looks of the CR-V for this generation is bigger, boxier, and definitely looks meaner. However, with the sometimes black and sometimes chrome trim pieces, it does bother me a little bit. Now, under the hood, instead of the 1.5 liter turbo inline-4 engine, you get a 2 liter naturally aspirated inline-4 paired with 2 electric motors, which produces a combined total of 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. Now, this is paired then with an eCVT and delivers powers to all 4 wheels. One thing to note is that not all eCVTs are built the same. In this case, instead of using planetary gears, Honda is using several clutches as a transmission. Now, in the rear, as you would expect, you get plenty of cargo space. The rear seats fold down flat, however, because the trunk floor is quite low, the rear seat sort of becomes a hump. Additionally, because this is a hybrid vehicle, you actually don't get additional space in the trunk floor, as you cannot actually lift this up. In terms of the interior, it's got leather seats with orange stitching, which looks really unique and cool. And in typical Honda fashion, the build quality is phenomenal. But I can't just help myself but play with these clicky knobs. They are just so satisfying to play with. Unfortunately, something that I've really noticed is how much hard plastic this car has. Aside from the seats and the little armrest on the side that's leather, pretty much everything else is hard plastic. And I think at this price point, it just feels a bit cheap. Aside from that, you get memory seats, heated seats, as well as heated steering wheel, along with a 9-inch infotainment display, as well as a half digital 8-inch display. Now, I really think that Honda should just put in the full digital instrument cluster like you would get in a Civic Touring. So a CR-V is a bit more expensive compared to the Civic, so just put that in there. Looks much better, it shows a bit more, and I don't have to bother with half of a digital screen, which I just have a little bit OCD about. The rear seats is probably where the CR-V shines the most. Not only do I get plenty of space, super spacious headroom, super spacious legroom, I also get plenty of levels of adjustments for my reclining seats. I can go all the way back here, basically just lounging. Now, as a bonus, you also get black headliner, which I think looks more premium. The one thing that you miss out on is the panoramic sunroof. You can't actually get panoramic sunroof in any of the CR-Vs for this generation, so something to consider if you want a panoramic sunroof. Now I think it's time for a test drive. Let's hit the road. Starting off our drive, let's talk about the powertrain. Now this hybrid system operates very smoothly and quietly, even though the engine turns on and off. Really, if you drive this vehicle gently, you would never notice the engine turning on and off, or you would never hear the engine at all. Now on acceleration, even though this vehicle has an eCVT, you do hear the car shifting gears, which makes the overall experience very natural. Much more natural than the regular CVTs that comes in other Hondas. Now this vehicle produces 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. It does feel a bit more peppy compared to the regular gas version. However, not by a whole lot. So don't expect too much from the torque figure. On deceleration, the regen braking is minimal, which makes this feel very much like a normal car. And the brake pedal feels very linear as well, especially during the transition between normal braking and regen braking. The paddle shifter is here for you to adjust the regen brake levels. However, if you're in drive, it will reset itself back to default after a couple of seconds, which I find a bit weird. If you want to hold it into a stronger regen braking level, you need to shift it down to B. And once you do that, you can adjust your regen braking as you like. There's 4 different levels, but even in the 4th level, the strongest level, it is not that strong. And by no means is this a one pedal drive experience. So surprisingly, this CR-V hybrid actually comes with a sport mode. And the sport mode, the car generates a bunch of fake engine sounds. Let's hear it. Sport mode. There's shifting sounds, and there's a lot of engine sounds. I guess it's pretty cool. But of course the engine sounds a little bit fake. Now, of course, this being a hybrid vehicle, we're gonna have to talk about its efficiency. On the highway, I get around 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers, and in the city, I get anywhere between 6 to 8 liters per 100 kilometers. Now, of course, it widely depends on the driving condition, the weather, the wind speed, as well as how you drive the car. In comparison, the gas version also does around 7.5 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway, and in the city, it's between 9 to 10 liters per 100 kilometers. The overall ride quality is very comfortable, and the suspension tuning is great. Going over small bumps, the car doesn't feel too stiff, and going over large bumps, the car also doesn't feel floaty. It does have some body roll, I would say, but to be honest with you, I think the CR-V is one of the best handling vehicle within its class. The road noise is minimal and the cabin is very quiet. Even on highway speeds, the car feels very, very stable, which is great. Although I would say that these Bridgestone winter tires are on the louder side. In terms of safety feature, this vehicle really has it all. From lane keeping assist, lane departure, lane centering, adaptive cruise control, to rear cross traffic alert and blind spot monitor that beeps at you in addition to light up. What more can you ask for? It has everything. And over the period of my testing, all of the active driving assists work very well and is predictable and is quite confidence inspiring, which I feel safe and I trust the system. This 9-inch infotainment screen offers wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you desire to use them. And in addition to the trip meter that shows you your fuel efficiency and stuff like that, it also has a power flow screen that shows you in real time how your hybrid system is functioning or is operating, whether if it is charging, whether if it's using the gas engine to to drive the vehicle or whether if it's only using electric power. Overall, the CR-V EX-L Hybrid is a very compelling option, and I don't really feel the need to spend the extra $3,000 on the Touring because mainly it only gets you a Bose sound system and 19-inch rims, which probably makes it feel a bit more bumpy in terms of the ride quality anyways. Now comparing to the Toyota RAV4, the RAV4, even in its hybrid variant, is a little bit cheaper. However, it's really starting to show its age in 2024. I believe in 2025 or 2026, a brand new RAV4 model will come out. So in 2024, do you think there is a better option than the CR-V Hybrid? Comment down below and let me know if you think this is a good option or which one you would pick over this. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.